All right, we're going to talk about ferrite beads today. I have this little box here with all my ferrites in it. Some have leads on them. Some are just cores that you can wind your own leads on. Some are the snap-on variety to go around a cable and stuff like that. But we're going to talk about beads, okay? And so this is sort of what a ferrite bead looks like. It kind of looks like a resistor, right? And it's just a little piece of ferrite on a wire. And we're going to talk about those. So here's an application that we're going to use. It's a DC to DC converter. I've showed these in a different video. 3.7 volts in, that's like a lithium battery. 5 volts out. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to load it. Okay. I'm going to load it with 50 ohms. 50 ohms. So 5 volts. 50 ohms, 100 milliamps. So we'll pull 100 milliamps out of the DC to DC converter, and we should see some noise on the signal, okay? So let's hook that up, take a look at it on the scope. All right, here it is. Here's my 50 ohms. Let me turn my power supply on. Let's get this connected up. All right. Make sure my power supply is set correctly. Yeah, 3.7 volts. Okay. So we're going to be taking a look at the output. And let's go ahead and turn it on. And there we go. Let's see here. I want to go to the ground state. We'll call this the ground state. Okay, that's the drawing that I just drew. All right. So the top trace is the output. It's DC offset, so over here it's reading about, oops, I shouldn't have touched that. It's reading about 5.174 volts. That's the output of this particular DC to DC converter, 5.17. And you can see it's giving us some spikes because it's doing its DC to DC converter thing. So the vertical dimension on this is 20 millivolts per division. So we have about 20 millivolts of up and down, and then a little spike that's about another 30 millivolts of spike, okay? And then here is the spectrum of it from 0 to 10 megahertz. So about minus 30 dBm of noise right now at the high, and then we get all of the harmonics because they have that really short spike there, okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to do, like any good boy, is that going to blow out on the camera? Maybe. But I'm going to put a capacitor right here, okay? We'll put a capacitor across our load, and that'll be a 0.1 microfarad, okay? So let me grab a 0.1. And I'll put it on while you're watching, okay? So, that's without the capacitor. And then we'll put our little 0.1 microfarad capacitor across there. And you can see that, not triggering it well anymore. There we go. It didn't do a lot, okay? It did a little bit, maybe, but it really didn't do a lot. Maybe I'll pull it off while you watch. Off. Yeah. See, we have a really sharp spike, and then we kind of had this almost like a square wave there. And when I put it on, our spike went way down, and then we kind of have a roundy section here and a roundy section here. That's that capacitor. So it did smooth it out some. But our noise level really didn't change any, okay? We still have about minus 30 dBm of noise, all right? All right, so we're gonna go to the next step. A lot of people are gonna say, well, you need a bigger capacitor. It's not wise practice to put a large capacitor on the output of a DC to DC converter because a lot of times they don't even fire if you have it there. But I'm gonna put a 10 microfarad on the output, see if that makes any difference at all. And here's with a 10 microfarad capacitor. And yeah, the spike went down to maybe minus 35, But again, it's not really good practice. It did smooth it out a bit too, got more square. But the 0.1 is probably best practice. If you put a large capacitor on the output of a switching power supply, you will get into startup problems. Okay, so what we're going to do next. All right, so this is what the video is about. Move this back down again, over to here. All right, so we're going to put a ferrite bead right here. Okay, there's our ferrite bead. And we're going to still have our 0.1 microfarad capacitor here, but we're going to put a ferrite bead. And the first bead that we'll do is this one here. It's just a single bead on a lead. All right. And you can watch while I put it on. All right, so let me put the bead on. All right, and I think you can see things got a whole lot better. Now we're down to about minus 40 dBm on that first peak, so 10 dBm drop. And this is pretty smooth looking now, right? The little glitches aren't very high. It looks much, much, much nicer, all right? All right, so we're going to change to this bead here, which is just instead of just one, it goes out and then back through again, so it takes a double pass instead of just one pass. So that should be better. Plus, it's a little bit longer ferrite, so it should be a better device. Let's see here. All right, I need to change my triggering to auto so I don't lose it. So let me do that. Triggering mode to auto. I had it on normal. All right, so let's get rid of this. Now, when I put the bead in, it should show us something. Yeah, there we go. All right, so it did get a little bit better. Let's get rid of this over here. All right, it did get a little bit better. We're down about minus 46 dBm now, and it is much, much smoother. And then we'll go one step further. We'll go to this guy. He goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He goes through like 6 times, okay? And so he's going to be super good. And let's put him in between here and here. All right, and I think you can see now we're down here at minus 70 dBm. It just knocked everything off. Really, really nice. Things are very, very flat up at the top. So, what did we learn? We learned all about ferrite beads being wonderful things. If you tear apart modern equipment, you'll see a lot of ferrites these days because there's lots of low voltages and noise is everything, and you'll see a lot of little ferrite chips and stuff on graphic cards and CPU cards and stuff like that. So we looked at 3 different types of ferrites. We looked at these 3 here. Okay, we had the normal one just straight through. We had this one that goes in and out, so it's a double pass, and it's much, much longer. And then we had this one here. It's about the same length, but might be hard to see on camera, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes in it, and it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it gave us the best performance. So these little guys are cheap, and if you're going to be using switching power supplies, DC-DC converters, whatever, don't be afraid to put in some inductors. So a lot of people who kind of start off on the digital land aren't comfortable with the word inductor. You don't see them use them very often, but they can be a very powerful thing to have in your circuit. Just put a bead. You can just get beads all by themselves. Let's see if I can find her in my box of goodies. Yeah. Here's one all by itself. It's just a little bead, and it has a hole in it, so you can put your own wire in there. It's a little bit cheaper. I'm assuming it's a little bit cheaper than buying one with a wire already in it. Just get yourself a bead, make your own wire, In fact, this one here I had to put my own wire on. It had 2 holes in it. I put my own wire on it, and yeah, you just slide them in. Away you go. Anyway, there you go. A quick introduction to ferrite beads, and they can do wonders.